Hi, I'm going to create a controller for use in Visual Studio ASPNet Core. The controller allows you to separate functionality from the data and from the view. You can have as many controllers as you want. The default wizard gives you the one home controller, which you're used to seeing. As you know, the home controller will have an iAction result for each page you want to interact with, and in the future we'll have more than one page that we'll interact with as we start to read and write for models. For now, I want to create a multiple controllers so that I can have different types of code depending on the situation I'm in. So what I'll do is I'll create a new folder in my views, and I'll call it laptop. Not laptops, tablets. I'll call it tablets. All right, so in my tablets, I'm going to create a new Razor documents. Sorry, I'm going to create a new view, my bad. I'll take the empty one. I'll call it index because that's the first page of my tablets. And like all my other indexes, I'll put in a title that of course gets passed into the layouts. And I'll put some content. Keep on say laptops. All right, so since I created a separate folder for these views, I can create a controller for them. Now, if you look at the existing views I have a home folder and a home controller. I have a laptop folder and a laptop controller. Likewise, if I have a tablets folder, I need a tablets controller. So I'm going to add a controller. I'm going to go with empty. The rest of these are really helpful as we move forward. MVC read-write allows you to read and write databases or files. This one also read and write databases, but with a lot more power. And this allows you to create web services. So I'm going to create an MVC controller empty and add it. I'm going to give it a name. The name is really important. Since this is called tablets down here, this has to be called tablets controller. And what occurs is I now have my file here. It defaults to giving me an index, and this index will link me down to here. I'm now going to make this appear on my toolbar, and of course that's in layouts. So I'm going to open up my layout file. And I did one for laptop a bit ago, so you can see what I've done. See how I have ASP controller, home, home, home. Those are my files in my home controller. This is a file that's in laptop. I'm going to add something similar for tablets. My controller becomes tablets. Index is still index because that's the page I wish to pull out of the tablet folder. And then I'll give it something to link on. I need to make sure I spell that right because my controller is called tablets. So let's see if this works. So let Brave chug along. Close my old ones. So here's my menu bar. Tablets is here. Tablets pulls right up. You may be asking, why do I care? You care for a variety of reasons, primarily for separation of code. By having a home controller, a laptop controller, and a tablet controller, you can have multiple people working on these projects. If this is a GitHub scenario where you're all sharing these documents and two people are trying to update laptop, you know that means a merge. If one person's working on laptop, one person's working on tablets, when it merges, it's not a big deal because only one person made the change. Now, like before, you can do whatever you want here. So I can pass something in with the view data. I can also pass stuff in with the view parentheses, just like we did before. When I go to my index, And put it in here, and as you know, it'll say whatever I passed in with this message. Boom. You can also make this interactive. Let's suppose that we have a message that's based on a holiday or that's timely. Oops, forgot the ads. So that's obvious what that's doing. If there's nothing in the something view data, it won't display this. And I can prove that by going back to my tablets controller and run this. And this time that message won't appear. Awesome. Now, again, what you'll use this for. Imagine if you had a sales database, and you had in your sales database, you had laptops and tablets. You could have different SQL here, or link, depending on what you're querying with, that reaches through that database and pulls out just tablets here. And then you can have very similar code up here for laptops. You could even connect to different databases throughout different controllers. You could have different math, you could have different sales techniques, you have different messages, and by separating them into individual files, you add yourself some sanity. For one thing, it shortens your document. Look at my home controller, it's massive. And secondly, it's specific to tablets or laptops. So controllers are something you do have to get used to. Recall this is MVC, Model View Controller, so you have to be able to work the code. We'll do more complicated stuff with this in future videos, but for now, you know how to create a controller, you know how to work with it.